I'm Jonathan Gerwitz, partner with KGB Texas Communications, and welcome to The Point. Today we're visiting with Dr. Lon Smith, medical oncologist and president and CEO of the START Center. Dr. Smith, welcome.
Glad to be here.
START Center is a global leader in phase 1 clinical research. The work that you do here is really on the cutting edge of medicine. What bright spots are you seeing in the treatment of cancers?
Many wonderful things have happened, and being able to be involved with early phase drug testing enables you at times to be present almost at a miracle. Here at the START Center, Amita Patnick, one of our physicians, was the first physician in the world to treat a patient with pembrolizumab in 2012, which has is now known as Keytruda. Today is probably the largest selling oncologic agent in the world, led to the complete cure of a number of patients with metastatic melanoma. So to be able to see that and be present for it is really a great blessing.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. What's new in that specific treatment?
There's a long history of breast cancer innovations coming from San Antonio. You know, San Antonio is the home of the San Antonio Breast Conference, which was really started by Bill McGuire, who did a lot of work with community surgeons here in San Antonio to identify various markers in breast cancer and determine their significance. So today we're still working with patients who are estrogen receptor positive, and we're better able to understand how to treat those patients going forward with new drugs. We were the people who led the effort to do the early phase drug studies with abemaciclib, which is now called Versinia, and you will see advertised on cable news. It's made a great difference in terms of treating patients treated initially with conventional therapy who have then progressed to are estrogen receptor positive. We are rethinking how we use HER2/neu positive treatment for breast cancer, and the presence of HER2/neu, which is a protein on the surface of breast cancer cells, was first identified in tumor specimens obtained here in San Antonio. Over time, not only have we led that effort clinically in terms of looking at those drugs, but we have also collected in San Antonio a number of PDX models from women who have agreed to contribute tumor specimens such that we could grow those tumors in a mouse. And that body of information is enormously important to pharmaceutical companies in terms of looking for drugs that can potentially improve the care of those patients.
Very interesting. Cancer affects so many families, and the research that you've done has identified markers or genomic links to cancer. If you're in a family that's got that hereditary risk, what can you do to try to mitigate that risk or to screen?
Well, it's important to know your family history, and if you do, it can be very powerful in terms of thinking about what you need to do in terms of preventive care. I guess one of the things you should know about is we are creating a high-risk breast cancer clinic here at the START Center. So hopefully we will be able to help patients who are at high risk of developing breast cancer but don't have it yet to determine, to make certain that they get the best type of preventive care. And then beyond that, you know, in thinking about your question, the other thing is to manage your weight, decrease the amount of alcohol you drink, and to, of course, not use tobacco. Those are the primary things we can all do.
Mm-hmm. And then if you're diagnosed with cancer, breast cancer, and any type of cancer, what can a patient do to ensure that they are getting the best care possible?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. And I think the first thing to do is to find an oncologist that you trust. And I think that doctor should help the patient access all of the potential treatment that's available anywhere. So when we see a patient here, we would like to make sure that they are presented with all of the options which might be available here in San Antonio, other places. So we're not the Chamber of Commerce. Mm-hmm. We're focused on making the best care available for the individual patient when we see them. If it's here, great. If it's somewhere else, that's great also.
So START Center has 3 facilities in the United States. You have 2 facilities in Madrid,
right,
and then you'll have another opening in Lisbon by the end of the year, and one in Dublin coming.
That's right.
So why the global reach for START Center? Why is that so important?
Our expansion really happened through relationships that we have had with physicians. So one of the physicians who's very active in the Grand Rapids practice used to moonlight in our practice here in San Antonio when he was in the Army. We were introduced to the Utah practice through physicians that we have here who had originally come from Utah. The practice in Madrid is headed by Emiliano Calvo, who was here as a fellow in San Antonio in 2003. And so we have in Madrid a practice in a private hospital there and one in a public hospital there. The opening of the practice in Lisbon is related to the existence of a physician there who was trained with Emiliano Calvo.
It's all about relationships.
It is. Nahal Lakhani, who is a researcher in Michigan, knows Austin Duffy, who he worked with at the National Cancer Institute. Austin has returned to Ireland, and so we're working with them. Now, what we believe will happen and what we're seeing happen is that we're seeing a large number of patients, and we're better understanding the genomic information that they have. So when we are able to understand that, we are able to present a body of information to pharmaceutical researchers who can take that and look for specific drugs. And so hopefully that can rapidly advance drug development and lead us to a cure for cancer, which gets back to our ultimate mission as a group of physicians.
Well, Dr. Smith, thank you for the wonderful work that you're doing here in our community and around the world. Thank you for visiting with us today, and thank you for joining us on The Point.
Well, thank you.